Welcome back to the DNX show, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about Salt Lake City Supercross, but the season as a whole as well. But before we get into it, make sure you guys hit that like and sub button. All right, so Doc, what was your initial impressions of Salt Lake City Supercross?
For 250s, actually might be the most insane race I've ever seen. Most unpredictable race ever, maybe. I mean, maybe the only one that kind of goes back to that unpredictable would be the Savachi Osborne thing, but I felt like this was even more just chaotic and just insane. And then 450s kind of went exactly how I thought it was going to go.
That is the same exact thing for me. Like 450, I'll start with 450s. I even predicted that Coop is going to get a good start, fade a little bit, maybe get into fifth and win the chip by one, right? He got to fourth because AP didn't want anything to do with him, all right? He literally pulled over and was like, I'm out, all right? Yeah. I'm like, bro, he at least put up a little bit of a fight, but no, like, it's nope. Fine. So it would have came true if AP was just twisting the throttle a little bit more, all right? But
yeah, he was not trying to. He saw my prediction of saying a teammate was going to mess it up, and he was like, yeah, no, that's not me.
For real. And then the 250 class, just like you said, it's very unpredictable. Now, at one moment, I was like, oh, Tom Viala's going to get this. He has Juju behind him. Juju's going to play that teammate role and stay behind him. And then, like, Juju was, like, on his ass, man. I'm like, Juju, back it up a little bit, dude. Like, play a little defensive. And, yeah, no, he did not care. He got by him, gapped him a little bit. That left him vulnerable to Seth, and then Seth got by him. And then RJ also got by him, and I was like, well, Tom Viala's championship's over with. And then I was like, oh, it's going to be a battle between Seth and RJ. And then Juju played a huge factor, slowing up the pacing, allowing RJ to get into it. And that's the only reason why RJ was able to take out Seth, is because Juju slowed the pace up that much and then played into Seth, hitting him a couple times, making it difficult to pass. And then he just let RJ by. I'm not like, he just like, oh, that's RJ. Okay.
Yeah,
bye.
I don't know. There was some weird stuff going on there. I wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I was Tom, probably be a little upset with Juju. I mean, obviously he ended up winning the chip, so it is what it is. But he wasn't very friendly. And like, I don't think it'd be one thing if Deegan was like right in front of him, but Deegan was already gone, right? Like Deegan, I don't think, and nobody was catching Deegan. So it's not like Juju was going to be able to get out and catch Deegan and win. I don't know. It's kind of a weird one.
Yeah, after like 2-3 laps, Deegan had a 6-second gap. And I'm like, yeah, no one's catching that guy. And so like I was like, oh, Juju, play defensive a little bit, just like stay in that pace, help Tom out. And yeah, no, that didn't happen. But yeah, that pass with RJ and Seth, my initial reaction, you guys seen on the reactions, like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Like, I knew something crazy was going to happen, but I didn't expect RJ to take him out. Now, reflecting on it, watching it again, hearing some other people talk about it, the reason why he made an aggressive pass like that was he needed Seth to go behind at least Juju. He needed an additional spot to get the championship. So if he took Seth out, Juju got by him, RJ was ahead of that group, right? And then he would win the chip. Now, that's what he was hoping for. Did not happen. And then Tom Viala sneaked by and won the chip.
I think hindsight, obviously, that was probably the wrong place to do that. Obviously, they both went down. But I don't really think there was anything wrong with what RJ did. Like, it's for a chip. It was really aggressive. Like, I think you have to. And that, because the same thing, if RJ just gets around Seth nicely, I mean, there was only 3 laps to go. You got to think that Seth is going to do the exact same thing to him the next 2 corners, right? So I was talking to my wife about it because she was all like frustrated. I'm like, yeah, but you have to. That's like, you have to put him on the ground in that situation. Now, you don't put yourself on the ground in that situation. And I think it was rushed, right? Like, he just got behind him. He could have set that up way better if he just waited like 2 or 3 turns and probably got it done way cleaner, and probably didn't need to put him on the ground, but maybe push him off the track or something like that. It could have been way less catastrophic. But as far as the mindset of you got to put Seth on the ground or off the track, I feel like you have to in that situation.
Yeah, and then like RJ, he needed to do it for the chip. He needed to get someone in between them. And now I'm thinking of it, but there's 2 things here. For one, if RJ didn't crash, okay, and then Bo Mayer got right behind him, and Tommy V got right behind him, and then Seth was behind this group, and there's 1 lap left, wouldn't Beaumer just move over for Tom Vialle to get the chip anyways? Because then Tom Vialle would win the chip if he just moves up 1. And so, hypothetically, here's my second point. Why not do it on the last lap when Beaumer's a little bit closer, and then do the last corner, last lap right on the checkers? You guys, it's a brawl to get up. You're probably going to have a bigger gap to Tom Vialle by then, right? And yeah, just, it was chaos. It was great entertainment, but it was crazy.
That's what I mean. I don't think there's anything. Everyone's giving RJ a hard time, but it was a championship pass, right? Like, I don't think there was anything wrong with it. I think it was poorly timed, is all. Yeah. Like, it didn't. As soon as he got behind him is when he pulled the trigger on it, and it didn't need to be that soon. He could have thought about that and played that out a lot better, but it was awesome either way.
And now Tom Vialle, I've seen a lot of, I would say, hates. I wouldn't say, is it hate or is just like disrespect? I don't know if hate and disrespect is the same.
Hate, but
like,
same thing.
On Tommy V, like winning the chip, he's the slowest 2-time champ. He shouldn't have won this. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. He had a 10-point gap at Foxborough and somehow got 0 points. If he gets like 10th, this championship is still out of reach for those guys, in my opinion. You would have to take out Tom Vialle in this race. And you know what I mean? So, like, hypothetically, consistency wins championships. Go look at Cooper Webb. He's won multiple championships. Go look at Dungey. They're the best because they know how to race and they're consistent. That's wins championships.
Here's the thing about Tom that really impressed me, because I was also kind of on the like, man, kind of a bummer to get third every freaking race and win the chip, like, as far as the fan. But Tom needed a win at the last race when he won, and he got it done. When Tom got in front of Seth, he turned like one of his best laps the whole race in order to hold Seth off the last couple laps. Like, when Tom needed to perform, he performed. And he was just enough to get the championship.
Like, don't get me wrong, that was Seth's. Don't get me wrong, that was Seth's 100%. Championships.
I wish Seth won.
Yeah, like, don't get us wrong. That clearly was Seth's championship. He did nothing wrong. He should have won that championship. Okay, 100%. But don't hate on Tom for winning the championship, for being consistent and the slowest guy, because like he's there every single weekend on the box, and you can't knock that. Go back to Pittsburgh when Tom Vialle won that race. I think it was Pittsburgh. Yeah, it was Pittsburgh when he beat Nate Thrasher. What happened with RJ? RJ could have been in a position to only have to pass, say, Tom Vialle to win that champ. But what happened? He crashed in the rhythm section and Max Volan got by him. And so there's a lot of scenarios, bro.
RJ made that championship so much harder on himself. If you look back through the whole season and like all the little dumb things he did, you know, I say dumb as in just like little mistakes that he made that cost him big, right?
Landing on a freaking tough block.
Yeah, I was gonna say the tough block. Even that race, crashing in the rhythm, having to go to the LCQ, which I actually think helped him quite a bit. But yeah, that was a wild.
Yeah, it's just a wild race. It was really exciting. It was honestly one of the better races because of everything that was happening, everything on the line. It was so much chaos, but it was awesome to watch. 450s. Like you said, it was just predictable. Like, we know exactly what was going to happen, right? So,
comments. When we said that Cooper was going to fade back to 4th, 5th, 6th, well, not 6th, but he was going to fade back to where he was going to barely squeak by in the championship, we were getting flamed in our comment section. Guys.
It happened.
Is this your first championship? Have you guys not seen a championship before? Like, anyway,
like Malcolm was fast. What happened. J. Coop is fast. AP should have been up there. Go look at the heat race. He beat Malcolm. Like, he had Malcolm's speed. Like, he should have been there. And so, yeah, we know we kind of know what we're talking about a little.
It's what they do every single time, unless they get like the only way Cooper Webb wins that race, like people were saying, is Cooper Webb gets the whole shot and chases on the ground, and he has no pressure, right? Like,
Chase had a horrible start. Like, initial horrible start, cut underneath, was 4th or 5th, diced him, got into second past Cooper within a half a lap. And, like, it was over by then. Like, we already knew it was going to happen, but, like, we kind of know what we're talking about a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But overall, great season by Cooper Webb. Key thing here, consistency. That's what won him that championship. He was more consistent than Chase honestly, because in 5 weeks and during the middle of the season, Chase should have won this like 2 rounds earlier, just to be fair. But Cooper Webb found ways to win and found ways to be more consistent than Chase. So
if Chase didn't put himself on the ground those 5 or 6 weeks or whatever it was, I mean, gosh, dude, he would have won like 12 of the races. You know, it would have been insane.
At maybe not Tampa, because you could go out and say that Malcolm was catching him and was going to make a pass 100%. Like, you could say that. Think about Arlington. All he had to do was get second. Literally, it was the last lap. All he had to do was double that shit and not crash, and he wins that race. He wins the chip. I mean, go to Detroit. He gets stuck on the gate. He was the fastest guy out there. He was dead last, and he crashed, and he made it back to the 3rd spot. And there were still heavy hitters in that race. And so, I mean, he won 2 out of the 4 races to start with the heavy hitters. So, like, Chase lost that championship.
I was going to say, and same thing with Webb. Like, he got it done. He beat Chase straight up when he needed to beat Chase straight up, right? Like, he outpaced Chase at times and would match his lap times when he needed to. And, I mean, yeah, really incredible season from Cooper Webb.
Shout out to Cooper Webb for winning the chip. He did exactly what he needed to do. He rode amazing. Got the start, which was very important for him, I think, and just kind of rode his race, like we said. But very impressive season by Cooper Webb. And then for the 250s, I mean, yeah, it's just chaos. It was just kind of chaos. But let's talk about our takeaways for the whole season here. For the 250s, you mentioned that it was just unpredictable or legendary. Is that what you said?
Yeah, legendary. Just incredible. Probably the best 250 seasons I've ever seen.
I would have to agree with that. Maybe 2017, it was very similar to what happened in 2017. Same exact manufacturers too. KTM, Husky, and Kawi, right? So very similar, but I think what's more crazy about 2024 Supercross or 2025 Supercross is there was 12 different winners in the 250 class. That is kind of unheard of, and we had the most ever in one coast and 7 on the 250Es. Now we get the injuries played a little bit of a factor, but like not as much as we think. Like, it's the 250s was honestly one of the best seasons ever. And for my takeaway for the 450 class was it was still pretty damn good. It's one of the best seasons to date. Now it could have been 10 times better if all the guys were there. 100%. I mean, some of the injuries I wrote down here. Anderson got hurt during the season. Roxon got hurt the last couple of rounds, right? Tomac, Jet, Hunter, Prado. Like, I get it. It could have been a hell of a lot better season. But it was still one of the best seasons we've seen. Going down to the wire. 7 different winners. First-time winner. So, I think it's still one of a really good season.
Anytime you see championship go down to the last race and, like, it actually be somewhat feasible, I think it's a pretty good championship, you know? And honestly, if Coop didn't put a stop to Chase's winning whatever round he won, you know, when he was like 12 points back and
Pittsburgh.
Chase needed to win. Yeah, if Coop didn't win at Pittsburgh, I mean, it would have been insane, but
if Chase goes out and wins 5 in a row to win the championship, like you mentioned this, I think it was last week or something like that, that would have been legendary. This season would have been it would have been even on top, like a cherry on top of the season, right? So
I do got to say, as a non-Chase Glazer, I would be very worried going into outdoors if I'm anybody else.
He even mentioned with Lewis Phillips that, he's 10 times better than last year. So
yeah,
all I'm saying.
Yeah, we might. You think this was boring?
No, it's not going to be like that. But I do think we're going to have like a 3 to 4 way battle for the outdoor season. So it's going to be sick. In the comment section, let us know your guys' takeaway for the 450s and 250s. Like, was it a good season? Was it a bad season? I asked a bunch of you guys on socials. You guys were saying 250s, one of the best ever. 450s, meh, boring. Some people were like saying 7 out of 10 for the Supercross season. So I totally get that because of the injuries. 250s, we had a really good year. Going into your surprises for the year, what was your biggest surprise for the 450s?
Ken Roxon. I did not think that Ken Roxon would have come out and been nearly as good as he was. Let's be real, if it wasn't for Tampa, this is a 3-rider race all the way to the end, I think. because I think a lot of those injuries that came up, it's a little snowball effect. I don't think those injuries that Kenny ended up having would have actually happened if it wasn't for Tampa. And I think Tampa doesn't happen. We got a 3-rider battle all the way to the end. And I don't think Kenny was really on anybody's bingo card for a chip. Certainly a race win or two. But considering the field, he was just incredible. And yeah, I was very surprised and very pleased. Love to see that.
I don't even know why I didn't even think about that, because he hasn't been there the last couple of weeks, so it wasn't on top of my brain. But yeah, he rode amazing all year. I mean, he was on top of the box multiple rounds with everybody there too. So it's like he wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a fluke thing. He was there.
No, held the points at one point. If it wasn't for Tampa, would have held the points again. You know what I mean? Like ban the privateers. I'm just kidding.
Okay. So my biggest surprise was actually Malcolm Stewart winning Tampa. Now, do we think he had the speed to win a race, even going back a couple of years? Yes. Did we expect him to win a race? I mean, maybe not. Not really. The only thing I could say, though, is like when during that race, we all thought it was like, oh, he's going to win that. Like, he was flying. Like, I could say that, but like overall in general, it is a surprise to see Malcolm Stewart get a win.
I'm not surprised he won. I'm surprised in the way he won, where he just reeled in Chase and was just simply faster, right? Yeah. Like he was just simply the best guy. Like it wasn't, they weren't on the ground in the beginning of the race. It wasn't like he got the whole shot, everyone else crashed, and he was just gone 10 seconds out in 3 laps, and they reeled him in, and there wasn't enough time. He was just simply better. And yeah, that's surprising.
And the crazy part too, in that Tampa race, it's not like he started second either. He was like mid-pack. He passed everybody and caught Chase before Chase crashed, and then like obviously went on to win. So yeah, I think it was a huge surprise. We saw some speed towards the end with Malcolm too, and like I think the win kind of was the peak for him this year, right? And then kind of faded a lot, or like the next few rounds, and then it came back towards the end. So I'm excited to see what he can do outdoors, and hopefully this momentum this year helps him next year, right? And so yeah, kind of just a surprise for me, to be fair. But what was your 250 biggest surprise?
Honestly, like Cole as a whole, just being as good as he was, I think a lot of people were surprised by that. I knew a little bit going in, or I believed going in that he could do that, but potentially 3 race wins, if Glendale didn't happen, and he was looking super fast at Salt Lake City before he got landed on. And then honestly, I think Deegan's just consistency. I kind of thought he would be dominant and then crash, dominant, crash kind of a thing. And I mean, he was on the box like almost every round. And but also like obviously he won a few towards the end, so he had the most wins, but for a while there he was up there in points because he was getting second and third a lot. Not surprised he won the chip. Obviously I picked him to go undefeated, but I picked him to go undefeated, and so I thought he was going to be super dominant, and he wasn't. Obviously he won, so he was the most dominant one, but he wasn't just beating everybody's brains out every race. It was mature, and it was solid, and I guess I just didn't expect that from him, which is not a bad thing. I'm not taking anything away, so you Deegan stands chill,
Yeah, and I'll get into my Deegan point here for best rider here in a second, but for my biggest surprise for the 250 class is how many different winners we had. We had 5 in the West Coast, we had 7 in the East Coast, and now mind you, that's a record in the East Coast. That's never been done before in a coast before. Crazy. And now also, mind you, that's including 2 guys that possibly could have won a race in McAdoo and PB going out with injury, right? So those guys didn't even get wins.
PB was definitely,
PB was winning before he crashed out.
Yeah.
And so that could have been, now with that being said, that could have been lower because maybe some guy got on a roll and we don't see 7, right? But a potential 9 different race winners. I mean, that's unheard of. That's never been done before. So for me, biggest surprise, just how many different riders can win in the 250 class, which makes it interesting to see what's going to happen in the years to come and outdoors too, because all these guys are fast, man, So I know Deegan's going to have the upper echelon touch, right? You know what I'm saying? But like anybody can win at any given moment, it seems like. Okay, so now let's go into our letdowns for the season. And let's start with the 250s because we're talking a little bit about 250s. And for me, it's unfortunately, it was Levi Kitchen. I thought personally Levi should win this 250 East chip. Like, that should have been his. I mean, he started off the season great. He won a race at Detroit because of the red flag situation.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that. But then what happened at Daytona, just like that was potentially Levi Kitchen's championship to win. But yeah, just kind of bumped because I wanted to actually see him race in the West with Deegan, and I thought that was going to be freaking insane. And I hope next year we get that because I think Deegan's going to be racing again in 250s. So I hope that we get them lined up in the same coast. But yeah, I mean, just a bummer every season, to be fair.
I think my biggest surprise for 250s or biggest letdown for 250s, honestly, was probably Faulkner. I mean, yeah, that's a huge win, right? Like we got through it. I just, we all expected Faulkner to show up. And again, I'm okay with it. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter if I'm okay with it or not, but like, I'm cool. Faulkner, get through the season, get through outdoors, then let's get back to Faulkner 2026. Totally fine with that. Let's go. But I was really hoping that I just really like him. And I was just really hoping he would be battling for wins and podiums. And he's kind of my guy, like a lot. He has night vision. It's cool. He's got tattoos and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I think for Faulkner, I think next year he's going to be so much better. I think this year, just everything that happened from last year, new team, new bike, new everything. He's trying to lay the ground, isn't that the right term? Lay the foundation to be successful next year, right? So him making through a Supercross season healthy, which he's never done, is impressive. So big shout out to Faulkner. For my 450 letdown, it's got to be the injuries. I mean, it just has to be.
Yeah, that's what I have too.
Yeah, so I mean, you just go off the list off the top of my head from start to finish. We had Prado go out, I think A2 Prado. Then we had Jet go out at Glendale. Then we had Tomac out at Tampa. We had Hunter go out at Tampa. Roxon went out. He went out the last 2 rounds, but he was hurt. I think after the break. So I think it was around Indy or something like that. Anderson went out. We had, as we mentioned at the beginning of this season could have been 10 times better with just even say 2 of those guys still racing, right? But yeah, just a letdown because I don't know if it's necessarily as much of a letdown because it happens every year. Like, let's be real, injuries happen every single year. So I guess it is a letdown every single year is injury.
Yep. Yep. I don't know that we ever had a season where like all the top guys that go to A1 are there at the end of their season? No, not a chance.
It would happen, I would say, last year until what was the race where Kenny Schock blew up? Was it Nashville, which was like 3 rounds to go?
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of the guys still then, and then Kenny's Nashville happened, and then we lost Kenny. But then again, like that year, I forgot about Barsha too. Barsha went out with injury too. So, but that year, last year, Jet was already dominating the races, and Eli wasn't back because of the Achilles and stuff like that. But it just injuries freaking suck, man. I'm so excited about Moto because now everybody's freaking. Now let's go into some awards here. Let's start with the 450s best ride. Who do you have?
Other than the obvious Cooper Webb, I feel like I got to go with Jay Coop, right? Like, progressed through the season, didn't have the best start, but I'm starting to see a dangerous Jay Coop. You know what I mean? Like, and we've been saying it, that if Jay Coop figures out a couple of those things, Jay Coop's going to be a big issue for everybody else. And I really like him. I like his style. And I hope that he does figure those things out because I would love to see him be an issue.
Yeah, so for me, I didn't even think about it like that. Like, I just put Cooper Webb because of what happened this year, right? But if you're going on the lines of that, I'll also say Malcolm Stewart. Like, he rode great this year. He almost got third in the chip. Jay Coop actually got third in the chip. So I would say Malcolm Stewart, he only lost by 4 points to third, so he got fourth in the chip. So
I wish AP didn't have those 2 DNFs at the beginning of the year because the battle for third would have been so tight between those 3.
Yeah, so he lost the battle to third he had 255. So he lost by 26. Literally, roughly one race, right? So he had 2 DNFs back to back. AP's at least a top 10 guy. That's at least 10 to 15 points max, right?
Yeah,
So like,
would have been right there.
Yeah. So
those 3 really, I think each of them had a bit of a breakout year. You know, like not a full breakout where they're suddenly dominant, but like they took a step forward in Supercross.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, Malcolm, right, got a win. You know, so I think Jay Coop most definitely could have got a win if he maybe wasn't riding behind his teammate. You know what I'm saying? Just say. But okay, but what about your 250 best ride?
This would have never been on my radar whatsoever, but in my opinion, you have to give it to Seth. No way in the world was I looking at Seth as someone that could be a title contender, and Seth is like my new favorite 250 guy, and clearly had that chip his, but then it wasn't his. But that's mine. I'm majorly impressed.
Fair enough. Seth was amazing this year. Like when we went to the season, did we even think of saying Seth even top 3 with that East Coast lineup? Not even close, right?
No. I mean, you see the interview. He said he didn't even expect to be in that position.
Yeah.
Nobody. There's not a single person on the planet that thought he'd be in this position.
I think one thing that helps him a lot is training with the Lawrences, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm sure. Of course, yeah.
So, which is kind of weird because in Hymus, it doesn't translate for Hymus. So it's kind of weird, but
Hymus is good.
Yeah. I didn't say it. All right, my best ride for the 250's got to be Deegan. He now at the beginning of the year, you mentioned it. He was like, "Oh, he's gonna go undefeated." That didn't happen. Not even close. Right. However, this is probably his most polished championship series that he's done. He grew up a lot in this championship series. I think this will actually help him
on the track maturity.
His riding maturity grew a lot. I think will also help him in Moto this upcoming season because he podiumed 9 out of the 10 rounds. The only one that he didn't podium was round number 1. And didn't he crash? He did. He crashed in the second corner. And I'm pretty sure he got 4th. So he was right there, a podium, expected to podium that round. Won the heat race in A1. So he podiumed 9 out of 10 rounds. The only real mistake he ever actually had was round 1, where he went down in that first corner. He had one at Seattle, but he made it back to the podium spot. And now we dogged on him at the beginning of the year because we thought he was going to be dominant, you know. And I made a post. We're getting roasted that his season so far at halfway point was solid. It was. I don't know why you guys are roasting us. Even he said it was solid. It wasn't the greatest. So I'm like, why are you roasting us for this? Yeah, this Deegan put on one of the best 250 performances I think we've seen in a while, just podium and wins too. So I think it has to be. Going into our best privateers, let's start with 250s. This is for both coasts. And I put 3 guys. I put Cody Schock, P20. I picked Colin Park, 5th in the championship, racing. Cody Schock finished 6th in the West, by the way. And then Henry Miller. Henry Miller actually finished, I just looked this up. Where is the 250? He finished 8th in the championship as a privateer. I think that's very good, especially his team. I think that's outstanding. I mean, even Colin Park getting 5th, beating out Chance Hymas Factory Honda. What? And Chance was there every round, dude. And so I think those privateers, I know they're on teams and stuff like that, but privateer riders definitely deserve my best privateers. There's probably more I missed, but those are the guys I saw first.
Yeah, we're gonna go also P20 Cody Schock because rode great, and also Colin Park because he was so solid. Somebody get him a better ride, please, because so solid, so consistent, did great.
Yeah, 100%. And then for my 450 privateers, I put a bunch here. I actually put way too many here, but okay. So first I have DF. It's technically a privateer effort, I guess you would say. Not really. He's on kind of a team.
Privateer, ex-champion.
Yep. Okay. Quotation marks. But he had a stress fracture in his leg and rode with it, and
the
still
whole
finished for a while. Something similar to Tomac. And he finished in the championship 7th.
That's gnarly.
So very solid performance. So big shout out to DF. But then my other 4 guys here are actual somewhat privateers. Shane, got to give it to Shane. He rode great the second half of the season. Like we've been hyping him up the last like 6 weeks, right? And now actual privateers, we got Mitchell Harrison, rode fantastic this year. And then also Kevin Moran's. Big shout out to the boy Kevin. He made, I believe, 13 out of 17 rounds this year. I think that's what he posted on his IG, which is crazy. He only made like 4 rounds last year, so huge improvements. And then I also have Freddie Norton. He rode great too. And so I think all of those guys deserve an award for outstanding performances. So
I had not that many. I had one. It was Shane. Even though he did not get 7th in the championship like he was supposed to, and then he crashed there at Salt Lake City. His progression round to round was way more than I think anyone else's that I saw. Even though he finished lower than DF, he started really low down the field at the beginning of the season, 15, 16 around there. And if he doesn't tuck the front at Salt Lake City, he's getting top 5. And
100% he's staying in front of AP. 100%.
That progression from A1 to here, like 15th to 5th, nobody else did. And then not a privateer, but just shout out Dean Wilson for showing up out of the blue and just ripping.
Yeah, 7th the last round. Did you know that? Finished 7th. Yeah, that's crazy.
Again, started, didn't do great first round. That's fine, little Dino. And then like, dude, he could come back and like be a problem, you know?
There's a shout out to Lewis Phillips. He tweeted out that there's potentially a team offering him a full ride next year, a full Supercross ride. I don't know about SMX, like outdoors, and I don't think he'll do outdoors, but like full Supercross.
Clearly, he showed with like literally very minimal training and like time on the bike and fitness and food and all that stuff. Like, dude's a dog still.
Dude, he can do it. Like, think about this for a second. He didn't race all Supercross season. Came back for the last 5 rounds. Beat out some guys that have been racing all year, baby. All year.
Dude, I really like him too.
It's crazy.
He's such a cool personality.
Yeah, big shout out to the boy Dino. But yeah, so those are all our like season Salt Lake review, I guess you would kind of say. Let us know your guys' takeaways, your guys' surprise, your guys' basically all the categories. Let us know in the comment section. All right. But thank you guys so much for all the love and support that you guys have been showing on the channel. Make sure you guys hit that like and sub button. And we're going to be back with best moments, crashes. We're going to have our predictions for Moto. We're going to have our predictions for Paula. We're going to have everything in Moto. And yeah, we're going to be going to Moto season strong. So thank you guys so much for
Dean goes undefeated, chat. You heard it here first.
He's not going undefeated. If he does, I'll literally cash app someone $5K if he goes undefeated. It ain't happening.
Hey, dude, change my name to someone real quick.
But anyways, thank you guys so much for the love, and we're out. Peace.